Howdy folks, Meandering Mike here in the Man Cave of Madness. It's mid-afternoon. We're continuing our unboxing of Against the Odds annuals. Last one, we did this one here, annual from 2010, The Four Roads to Moscow. This time we will do this one, the annual from 2015. It's The Fall of France, Four Roads to Paris. 75th anniversary of the invasion in 1940. So I'm gonna try to do this one with the tripod set only. I'm gonna try to just move around the swivel. Say hello to Lieutenant Uhura there and the Rat Prince, and we got good old Water Buffalo, Scully, Crystal Skull over there. All right, and we'll use our hands to manipulate these, zoom in and out, and try to do it without holding the camera. It's an experiment. We'll see if it works well, if I can keep the right stuff in focus in the right place or not, and avoid like that spotted glare stuff. So I'm gonna unbox this guy here. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out while I do this. All right, I tore the shrink here. Of course, the camera's in between me and I really would like to get, see, a GoPro with some kind of steady cam attachment. I used to wear a GoPro when I was running around in the woods and stuff. That's a story for another day. But all right, let's look at the back of the box here. Now I'm gonna adjust this. The leg of the tripod is sticking out in the middle. I'm gonna have to change the swivel. No, I can't. Does not. Oh, there we go. It can. There. So I want it to. Can I do that without it falling over? No, I'm gonna have to at least be there. All right, let's try this. See, it's gonna be hard for me to get. I anticipate the height. Yeah, it's still not quite. Trade-offs. Steadier. Can't quite see it without it. And then I need to use two hands to actually move. I have to press in the button to release it and one hand to move the camera. This might not work as well as I'm hoping. All right, I don't know how well you can read that or not. Looking at the list of the 4 games there. The Seeds of Disaster by John Prados. Springtime for Hitler by Michael Rinella. Strange Victory by Stephen Cunliffe, and Betrayal by Roger Nord. So Roger and Michael and John all had titles in this game, and Ted Racier was the 4th designer. This one has Stephen Cunliffe. All right. According to this down here, there's even a 5th bonus item inside, a pocket battle game. Attack on Fort Eben Email. Doesn't actually see the actual name of that pocket game, but let's open up and see what we find out here. All right, so I'm gonna point this down. Remove that. That's that back flap, which again, if I keep handing it to the side, I can pop that up and refer to it. Okay, as usual, we have the nice, thick, glossy magazine. Advertisement on the back. Unknown Wars. That might be interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. All right, let's pop to the front. Look at that table of contents. All right, so again, we have an analytical article to start. Then we have our 4 rules for the 4 games. Another supplemental article, Death from Above, the Stuka and the French campaign, and then After France, an essay and book reviews. And then the Wars for Control of the African Citadel. So, obviously, again, like in the last one, there was a article, totally different period, some supplemental articles and stuff. So, you get a little bit of variety in this annual, but they're mostly focused on Invasion of France, 1940. All right, so I'm not going to focus on the articles or whatnot. I'm not even going to focus on the rule book. So, like, you notice there is some color in this, and I noticed when I was flipping through. I had said that the magazine before was black and white. The rules were definitely black and white, but there were a couple color photos in that. This has some here too. So the articles do have color pictures or maps, but the rule books did not. Now these rule books have some color to them. Now that's just, artsy, fartsy design element, not an actual part of conveying information. Okay, here, there we go. Terrain key. See, I like that. That they went and used color in the terrain key, making it look like it looks on the map. So to me, that's important. So I'm glad they did improve that. Having red for the subsections of the rules, that to me, no, I would not do that. Yeah, this is actually like a blue compared to the black text, but like that's blue. No, that to me is silly. I don't play with color. That just like don't play with a bunch of different fonts and stuff. When I get the color showing what the actual counter's like, what the terrain key's like, and I get it like in living rules where you got black and maybe here's a change in red or something like that. Some color that can show you what's the latest change. I get that. Green, it's like, Now, wait a minute. Are these? Yeah, they're nested in each side. Maybe. Okay. There's a different color for each different rule book. All right. See here, page 4, Springtime for Hitler. Page 5, Springtime for Hitler. And in the center, we have the rules with the red section. Is there embedded in the middle of this? No. So this is, well, wait. What's Betrayal? Okay, that's charts. Oh, my God. These are all nested in some funny ways. So you're going to have to pop those staples, separate all these rules. So this makes it hard. If you leave them in the magazine, you have to flip back and forth. You can't read these rules straight through. So you're reading this here. You got to go through these pages here. Then you have to flip over here to finish. I don't like that. Don't like that. There could have been a better way to do that. That's a problem when you stuff 4 games in one magazine, I guess. And you have everything stapled in the middle. So yeah, blah, blah, blah. Because you definitely want to be able to separate the rules for each game from each other, because you might easily want to separate the games into their own Ziplocs, their own boxes. There's no way you can keep 4 games and permanently store them in a container like this if you actually punch them out. There's not enough space to keep all those punched out counters in here. Interesting. All right, so let's go on and actually look at the counters and the maps and that stuff here. So let's see what we got here. There's the Springtime for Hitler, sheet 1. Behold, a pale glider. All right, so those don't have a lot of counters. All right, this is one of those little, oh, behold a pale glider. This is the, if we go back to here, yeah, behold a pale glider was not one of the 4. That's the little mini game. Here it is. And they've actually given you, well, it looks like the counters for this are the bottom part. Those are, see, identical here. You lay that there. So the top, what does that say? Can we read that? 2 Boudica addenda counters. So this is, a lot of game companies do this with magazines where they put supplemental counters for different things. This is Guns of the Ascari. That's an Against the Odds 38. That's like the Litau Vorbeck East Africa campaign. That's something I want to get to the table in 2013. So that down there is this mini postcard game. These are different supplemental counters. Interesting. All right, so this, though, was one of the 4 games. Springtime for Hitler. That's the game by Michael Rinella. All right. Okay. There's Betrayal. Let's look at all the counters first. Let's make sure they're all accounted for. More Springtime for Hitler. Sheet 2. Strange Victory. Okay, Strange Victory was the one by Stephen Cunliffe. That's a solitaire game. All right. It's interesting. It's just all these letters. So it's units on the back. These are sort of like categories, hidden units. You might know there's a certain classification of thingy, but until you discover them, you don't actually know what they are. All righty. Let's dig some more sheets. Oh, cards. Seeds of Disaster. Seeds of Disaster is the one by John Prados. All right, he also had the, oh, wait a minute. Seeds, this, I wonder if this is the same, this is the root of the conflict with the war planning. This is like the equivalent pre-1940. Foolishly projecting one's own motive on the enemies were the key factors in explaining what happened in 1940. So this is a lead up, the pre-planning, the strategies, the fortifications, the troop mobilizations, where things are, what your assumptions are, and how the war will be fought. This will be interesting, and to compare how the two stack up from the pre-Barbarossa one to the Case Yellow, I think. Isn't that the how they referred to the Operation Invasion of France and the Low Countries, I believe. So, and it has a deck of cards, and I bet we'll see the same kind of thing that we saw. Let's see if we can actually read some of those. Kurt Student wins on paratroops. Kurt Student must be the name of Mr. Student. German strengthens defenses. Anglo-German naval agreement. The Munich Accords. There's Anschluss, which was the occupation of Austria, convincing the Western world that Austria should be part of Germany, not separate. Another good old Neville Chamberlain. Good old, I'm saying kind of facetiously joking. All right. Seeds of Disaster and Betrayal. All right. So Seeds of the Disaster, that's the Prados. Betrayal. That's Roger Nord. Okay, we had Springtime for Hitler. And this was also Springtime for Hitler. So what are we missing? Is that 3 of them? Strange Victory. Do we have the Strange Victory, Springtime for Hitler, Springtime for Hitler, Caesar's Asset Patrol. There we go. Okay, 4. And then those other little ones of the mini games. So, wow, there's this was rattling around when I was like, I was thinking, oh my God, is there loose counters in there? I always hate that one. Because no, it's a bunch of tiny dice. Again, tiny dice are not my favorites. As many of you have seen in my playthroughs, I like much bigger dice. The size of those compared to those, right? These are huge. These are more of a standard size, bigger than the typical dice in Avalon Hill games, which are a little bit like a step down. These are really big. I like them. But yeah, little tiny dice. All right, so we had a couple of charts here. See the disaster, army strength, mobilized force pool. All right, again, who knows if there's actually fighting in it, if it's like the the run up to I already can't remember the name of it. The John Prados one. I don't see the back of it there. I can't remember. But all right, I'm gonna put the cards in between these two so they're less likely to get pushed and crunched, and I don't want them to trip and tear. All right, here is Seeds of Disaster, John Prados. So it is an area game like, why don't I remember the name of it? So there's the Netherlands. All right. Orient, North. Is it? I got this diagonal here. There's Calais, supposedly. That is say Calais, doesn't it? I don't see indication of a city. It just looks like a swamp region. You probably can't see it. Yeah, there's Calais. Problem with this arrangement, I could go out. You can see more of the map. I'm zooming out here. So yeah, here's Belgium, Netherlands. So yeah, it's got to be. Here's the Maginot Line. All right, so pet peeve. Dear publishers and as designers, make sure you insist. Map, compass, rose. Always put, the cardinal directions on a map. Let people orient. Always. Even more like this. Now, it's not that straight up, is it? Here, there is one. It is. Is that really? That little plane right there. Okay. So that is straight north that way. I think part of the problem is I'm used to seeing the War in Europe map where it's not 100% vertical, horizontal. The cardinal directions are not orthogonal to the borders of the map. Yeah, there we go. All right. I would not call that a pretty map. It's interesting, the orange, yellow, the French areas here that have a white highlight. I'm gonna go closer. I'm gonna actually zoom in. So see how hard that is to read? That's kind of whack to me. That's not a good choice. This isn't much better. The gray, that's a little glary there. Gray with like a black shadow on the green. Yeah, that's that. It's kind of sad when the yellow and the orange are the easiest to read compared to the other ones. All right. Armed. I'm looking at the tracks up there, which if I zoom out, here, let me fold that in half. Active hostilities. Armed belligerents. Peace, opposition, military preparations. All the way back to 1934. So, I'm trying to remember, like, I think the Germans remilitarized the Rhine in 35, wasn't it? Not 34. So what happened in 34? I'm not sure. Something. I suppose we could scour those event cards and see. Anyway, let's move on from this one and finish looking at like the maps. Okay. Again, we should look on the back. Yes, because 4 games in there. They're sharing the maps. Okay. So this is the Strange Victory, an area map. All right. So now that I know to look for the little plane in the corner, there's north. All right. There's Lille. So there is. So this part of France. So color coding between the games is not coordinated. You got pink. Let's see. Are you going to be able to see it up there? There's pink up here. And orange and yellow. So in the area that was like yellow and orange on the other map, orange is over here, yellow. So that's kind of unfortunate. At least these are better. They're bigger. Now, again, this green, the black on the lighter green, it's easier to read than the other stuff, but not super easy. The yellow with the black borders and the orange, those are pretty easy to read. The pink here, that's interesting. This up here on the coast is pink. And then there's this one other pink one down here. What is the pink signifying? And why are those separated like that? That is weird to me. Well, all the pink stuff is victory points 3 or 5. The yellow stuff has max 2. The orange stuff has 2 victory points. The green has 2 victory points. That still doesn't tell us what the different colors means. Most of them are all of 2, but the pink is the higher value stuff, but what does that really represent? I don't know. That's a little weird. Strange victory. Strange coloring. All right, interesting to find out more about that one. Boop, boop, boop. Other map. Betrayal. Roger Nord. So, at this point, at this level, who is betraying whom? What is the betrayal? Just that the French gave up, that they quit so quick, or the German betrayal of the neutrality of Luxembourg and Belgium and the Netherlands. They didn't invade the Netherlands in World War I, but they did in World War II. They drove through all of the Benelux countries. All right. So, yep, straight north here. Straight north here. All righty. These are a little easier to read. Let's see here. Let's zoom in a bit. So even this, there's no borders around that, but there's enough contrast to read it. The red has a little bit of a white outlining on it. It's okay to read. Area. So are these all area? Yes, there's not a single hex. So some of you folks would be very disappointed. I know, like Ardwolf, he's not too much of an area movement. He's a hardcore hex encounter man, so he might elect to pass on the 4 roads to Paris, whereas at least the 4 roads to Moscow had a selection. At least one of those had a traditional hex encounter. So without delving into it, it'd be hard to tell what are the difference between most of the games. Obviously, it sounds like the John Prados one is pre-invasion, leading up to, you know, what's the strategy, the disposition of the force, the technology, the alliances, the arrangements, who's going to support whom when. Now, it'd be interesting though. It would be nice to have a Poland and France, like that whole start of the war. I can see keeping the Operation Barbarossa one a separate thing between the Germans and the Russians and their relationship, the changing over time, as a standalone one. But in terms of, like, you know, British and French commitment to the Poles and what they did and didn't come to their aid, and then you throw Czechoslovakia in there, whether something happens there, you got the whole Sitzkrieg, that that 39 into early 40 winter are doing nothing. I don't know, I think it'd be interesting to have all those mechanisms, sort of the origins of World War II, up to and through, including the start of the war, up through the invasion of France. And obviously, if you had a big, huge master monster game that included all that stuff, I guess, like, you know, World of Flames with its I can't remember the name of, is that Days of Decision? Is that the precursor piece to that? I don't know. Anyway, so this one has four area movement games in it, and it's got point to point for the pocket game. So I think that's all I'm going to say on that. This is marching on 28 minutes here. So again, this was the Against the Odds annual 2015. I believe it came out in 2016, the actual published year. 4 Roads to Paris. And again, the designers and the titles. Let's see if you can read that a little better. Oh. Seeds of Disaster, John Prados. Springtime for Hitler, Michael Rinella. Strange Victory, Stephen Cunliffe. Betrayal, Roger Nord. So, this was another Meandering Mike, the Man Cave of Madness unboxing of an Against the Odds annual 2015. So we will call it quits here, folks. So again, we are marching towards Christmas time coming up soon. I hope you all are going to enjoy that. I am sure that the Rat Prince and Scully and Lieutenant Uhura, they're going to enjoy their Christmas. I will have another giveaway coming up. It'll be probably announced, say, I suppose Christmas Day or the day after, and we'll have it run through, say, New Year's, and have it actually right after midnight. After the ball drops, my local time, we'll do the giveaway then. Let's do it that way. But so stay tuned for that. Also, I'm gonna be continuing my playthroughs on GMT's Genesis by Richard Berg. And once that is done, I will be doing playthrough of Britannia, the full game. Not the new 2-player version, but the full game. I'm not sure which version I'm going to use or not. Whether I'm going to go back and use old classic Gibson's games, or the Avalon Hill version, or one of the later ones. But we'll be doing that soon. So to all you folks out there, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps out. Like the channels, all that, like the individual videos, comment, etc. That all helps the good old YouTube algorithm. That really does make a difference, believe it or not. That the more people are actually interacting with the channel, more people do get served up that content in their normal daily YouTube watching habits. So thanks again to everybody. Meandering Mike signing out. So all you folks out there, take care and ciao.